Hello there, thank you for joining me for That's the Way It Is. I'm your host, BC. Today I'm going to talk about something that's going to happen at a certain store in Durham, North Carolina. Tom Ferguson is actually going to start with all his business taking Bitcoins. Now what Bitcoins is, it is a currency that is state of the art. In other words, it's all computerized. That's right, it's all computerized. And they're not really giving a whole lot of information about this as of yet. But from what I'm gathering and what I'm thinking, you know, and it could be, it couldn't be, but it's just something to think about. Now, if you know anything about Revelation, you can go to Revelation 13 and 2, how it talks about and it doesn't spit it out saying one world currency, but it leads you to believe that there's going to be, because it talks about the Antichrist and how, you know, he basically is a world dictator. Now, every dictator that has in the past that has came about has had their own currency, you know, so it will lead you to believe that the same thing's going to be with the Antichrist. You know, they're talking about how all men, and you know, in these scriptures, how it talks about how he's going to be in charge of all men, all nations, and it's just, you know, and it makes you wonder, you know, with the technology that's coming out now, that if this is not the next step for the Antichrist. That's right, you're hearing it here. It will make you wonder if it is not the next step for the Antichrist. And it could be, it couldn't be, but you know, with every new thing that comes about, you know, we all hear about it, you know, that how, you know, it leads you to believe that it would be. And I'm thinking that, in my own personal opinion, I'm thinking that this very well can be it, you know, because everybody has their own intake and their own input on it. And I'd never even heard of this until I found an article about it. And the article wasn't really forthcoming as far as what exactly this new currency is. You know, all I know is like a virtual bank. You know, and things are being transferred. You know, funds are being transferred from one account to another account without anything being used. You know, in other words, paper money is no longer any good. It's a thing of the past. It's something for collectors. Isn't that just like the craziest thing you'd ever heard? It is the craziest thing I've heard. You know, which with computer age, it only leads you to believe that is just like the next step of the evolution of the computer age of technology. But wanted to keep you informed. Wanted to see what you thought of this. But I am leaning towards that this is the next step as far as when Antichrist would hit. You know, this is just another thing for him. And you know, and if you think about it, you know, if you read the books, the Left Behind series, how it talks about a computer chip is inserted in you, and they actually have those now. And you know, you would be scanned and the funds would be transferred. All this is, I mean, to me, it just seems like all this is coming together. And if you haven't read the Left Behind series, I highly recommend you read those. I mean, because they are so good and so detailed, and you do get caught up in what's going on in these people's lives. But, and getting back to the story, if you have any questions, any comments, leave them down below. And thank you for joining me. You have a wonderful day and be safe.